Picture this, who is the youngest player on any NBA roster in history to have 3 straight games with 6 steals? Well, it's Dyson Daniels. Pretty unexpected, right? You guys would expect the Atlanta Hawks to be a pretty mediocre team without Trae Young, but that is far from the truth. The Hawks have one of the NBA's most lethal defenders just lurking on that roster, and he finally got the chance. And from now on, you're gonna have to call him the vacuum, and I'm gonna tell you why. Thank you to BetUS for sponsoring today's video, and well, it's time to show you guys why Dyson Daniels is the vacuum. He currently leads the league in steals per game, and well, just look at this game log: 6 steals, 6 steals, 7 steals, and 4 steals. And well, you may be asking, how does he manage to grab the most steals in the NBA? And well, it all stems from his IQ and being 2 steps ahead of the play. Over here, Dyson Daniels knows the play that the Bulls are gonna run, and Vucevic is running the opposite way and hopes to get the ball in the wing. But just as Josh Giddey turns to pass to Vucevic, that's when Dyson Daniels pounces and rips the ball away from Giddey and gets himself an easy transition bucket. What Dyson Daniels is doing is being the glue guy to a roster, and this is what every team in the NBA looks for. Look at the New York Knicks. Players like OG Anunoby are the highest paid players on their roster and expect Dyson Daniels to get a bag. And well, this next play once again shows why Dyson Daniels is 2 steps ahead. And as the Bulls are bringing the ball down, Dyson Daniels is hedging so that he could help if Ayo Dosunmu drives or if Lonzo gets the ball. And Lonzo gets the ball here, and Dyson's already there to stick the hand out and tip the ball to get the Hawks another possession. Dyson Daniels is also one of the most elite post defenders, and over here as Zach LaVine is going into his body, he sticks his hand out because that's the closest Zach LaVine's gonna be to him, and while his wingspan helps rip the ball away, and he gets another possession for the Hawks. Just imagine this, a player gets 6 steals a game, that's 6 extra possessions that can win you a game. And that's what happened against the Boston Celtics. And Dyson Daniels' 6 steals helped the Hawks beat the Celtics by 1 point. Yeah, that's crazy. Before we break down how Dyson Daniels locked down the Celtics, there's this one play that shows how he could actually fool an offense, and it was pretty funny to watch. So the Bulls have the ball at the top of the key, and they're trying to get the ball to Josh Giddey. Either Josh Giddey can cut inside the paint or get a handoff. And while Dyson Daniels is going back and forth, and they have no clue what to do. But instead of backdooring, they just decide to hand it off to Giddey, and while Dyson Daniels' hands are right there to rip the ball away and bring it down for another chance at a transition bucket. Believe me guys, it has not been all rainbows and flowers for Dyson Daniels. He has actually gotten hate all over social media. But before we go over that and how we locked down the Celtics, shout out to BetUS, because you could actually go on their website and bet on your favorite teams to either win or lose a game. And the game against the Mavericks and Warriors tonight is going to be a nice one. I'm going to have to go for the Warriors. I'm going to go ahead and put 50 on this. But if you want to bet on like the Hawks, you could do that before the game. And well, if you guys want to place bets like these too, BetUS is offering a 150% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. Before we talk about this crazy 6 steals that Dyson Daniels had against the Celtics, a lot of people were questioning whether Dyson Daniels could coexist with a player like Zion Williamson because they said he couldn't shoot. And well, this is what they had to say.
I think that he's going to do fine on the NBA level. I'm just saying, with Zion Williamson coming back, with what we got with CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram and these boys, I know you need defense, but I want a guy that's a playmaker with that passing ability to be able to be trustworthy from the perimeter. I got you.
Oh my God.
Everyone was questioning his shooting, and the real mistake the Pelicans made was not being patient with this player. Because you could clearly see he's a plug-and-play player that you could put on any roster right now. And while the Hawks were looking at Dyson Daniels and they were licking their chops because they just snagged one of the best defenders in the NBA. And well, just recently he locked down Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics. And let me break that down. He was predicting everything the Celtics were doing. And when Pritchard was doing a handoff with Jason Tatum, he sticked his hands in there to poke the ball loose. And just like that, the Celtics were forced to run another play. Now comes the second play, and this is locking down Jason Tatum, one of the best players in the NBA, and it starts off with a screen, and he has the ability to fight over that screen, come right in front of Jason Tatum, and as Jason Tatum is pump faking, he stays on the ground and doesn't jump, and that gives him the time to rip the ball out of Tatum's hand, and there you go, another stop. Dyson Daniels finished the game against the Celtics with 28 points, 7 assists, 6 steals, and the people that didn't believe in him and said that he couldn't be a scorer or he couldn't be a good enough playmaker, well, they all look foolish now. But if you only thought it was Dyson Daniels that was playing insane on the Hawks, well, you are wrong, because there's a second surprise on this roster, and it is Jaylen Johnson. He has a second career triple-double with 18 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals on 48% shooting from the field. And while Jaylen Johnson was the 20th pick, I really like how the Hawks handled drafting him, and instead of actually rushing things, they developed him. And him being the 20th pick looking back now is pretty much a steal. Hopefully the Hawks can continue to do this, and maybe they can go deeper in the draft and get better picks like the Toronto Raptors and develop younger talent. And that's why I think Zachary Risacher can also be amazing. Jaylen Johnson has really developed into a playmaker, and that's something very underrated about him, and nobody talks about it. He can go from a pump fake to driving baseline, and with limited time and space, he can find a wing shooter for a very efficient shot. And even before plays develop, he could find the Onyeka Okongwu that's running straight to the paint for a crazy lob pass and an even crazier dunk. And well, how did Jaylen Johnson score? He feeds off his speed and his ability to get downhill and just dunk that ball. Even when he misses, he could grab his own offensive rebound and go back up with it. He sort of reminds me of a Paolo Banchero. But why do Dyson Daniels and Jaylen Johnson work so well together? And it's all because of Quinn Snyder. I love the fact that they went out there and got a new coach that is able to adapt to the modern NBA. They set a lot of screens for Trae Young and have multiple wings around him to support him. This Hawks team is really becoming a surprise squad. And while this win against the Celtics can give them the ability to have a little bit of fire under them and maybe go in this tournament. But let me know what you guys think about the development of the Hawks. Do you like Dyson Daniels and Jaylen Johnson? If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you demolish that like and that subscribe button. And thank you to BetUS for sponsoring today's video. I will catch you legends in the next one.
One thing that not changed, but that I really brought into this Olympic campaign was my mindset. And I know that my first 2 years in the NBA and my first year at the World Cup with Australia last year wasn't me and how I exactly planned it to be. And I know that I have so much more in me, so much more that I can do. And it's just about coming in with that mindset, being confident in myself, trusting my work that I put in, and